Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are starting with another topic, that is malaria. Now malaria is a very common topic as well as it is a very important topic because this particular disease leads to a lot of death in our country. If we see malaria is a parasitic infection which is caused in humans and it is caused by the female Anopheles mosquito. Do remember this name, the female Anopheles mosquito is going to act as a vector. What does this do is, these female Anopheles mosquito are having trophozoites in their salivary glands and they are just going to come to your skin and they will sting you and they will leave the trophozoites in your body and then it will start multiplicating. This is how they basically transmit the disease. Now there are 4 different types of strains of Plasmodium, or you can say this parasite. That is the Plasmodium falciparum, Vivax, ovale and Malariae. These are the 4 different types of strain of malaria, in which, remember, the falciparum type, this is the dangerous one, okay, this is the most resistant one. So the Plasmodium falciparum is the most dangerous one. Coming to the epidemiology, if you see, the Plasmodium falciparum, as I just told you, is the strongest variety among all of them. And in countries like East Africa, or maybe in countries like India or Pakistan or Nepal, as they are the developing countries, this Plasmodium falciparum has become resistant. Now resistant to what? It has become resistant to chloroquine. Chloroquine is usually the medication we give in malaria, but this strain, the falciparum strain, has become resistant to this particular drug, and so giving this drug to any patient of Plasmodium falciparum is no longer useful, okay. So this is what you have to keep in mind, that Plasmodium falciparum is the most severe among all the strains. Malaria is a disease which is found in hot and humid climate. Malaria is also transmitted by air sometimes. Not only the infected mosquitoes travel it through air only, then it is also said to be the airport malaria. Moving ahead to the modes of spread, usually it can spread through the blood transfusion, through placenta from a mother to the child, and through the syringe and the needles. Infected syringe and needles can also lead to the spread. Now coming to the life cycle of the parasite. Firstly, you see that the malarial parasite life cycle takes place in 2 phases. Half of the cycle will take place in the mosquito and half of the cycle will take place inside the man's body. This is how it will happen. Now there are 4 different stages, okay. You see there are 4 different stages which are taking place. The pre-erythrocytic phase, the erythrocytic phase, gametogony and the exoerythrocytic phase, okay. These are the 4 phases we will be looking at. As I just told you, the cycle is going to take place half in the mosquito and half in the man. The incubation period, or you say the whole of the cycle, takes about 7 to 20 days to mature. If we come to the cycle, we just divide this into 2 halves. Now this half is in the mosquito and this is in the man. If you look at the diagram, you will see that the female Anopheles mosquito, for example, she just sting the person, and what she will do, as I just told you previously, she will infect the person and liberate certain sporozoites inside the man, okay. As soon as she is going to sting the person, sporozoites are going to enter the bloodstream of the human, and as they enter the bloodstream, their first target cell is going to be, their first target gland is going to be the liver. They will all move towards the liver. The blood will act as a medium and they will reach to the liver. Now as soon as they reach the liver, they will change into merozoites, okay, and now these merozoites are going to invade the RBCs, or you can say they are going to hamper the RBCs. After they have entered the RBCs, the tropozoite form, which is another form after the sporozoite is changing to, from sporozoite it become merozoite and now it has become tropozoite. Now this tropozoite form in the RBC will actually lead to formation of some daughter merozoites, and some merozoites after a series of asexual cycles will mature on and form gametes, and at this procedure gamete formation will take place. Now what is happening is, the sporozoites enter the blood, from blood it went to the liver it matured and became merozoites, and now these merozoites enter to the RBCs and started hampering the RBC, and now these merozoites which were hampering the RBC are formed to tropozoites, and these tropozoites are further forming merozoites, which on maturing they will stay in your body, mature, and they will form gametes. Now these gametes will enter into the mosquito's body. Now what will happen is the fertilization process of the gametes will take place in the stomach of the mosquito. After the fertilization has taken place, zygote formation will be there, then ookinete formation will be there, and lastly there will be development of some new sporozoids which are ready to be invested in any other man's body. Okay, now the mosquito, once it has injected the sporozoids in one human's body, now the other target and the other set of sporozoids is ready with her. And now what she is going to do is she will take and carry these sporozoids in the salivary gland, and there she is going to infect the other person, and again the same cycle is going to repeat. So this is the whole cycle of your malaria, or you can say all the development of the malarial parasite. Moving ahead, if we see to the symptoms of malaria, so headache will be seen in the CNS, systemic is there is fever which is seen, high grade fever is there, muscular pain is lot, back pain will be there, the whole body will be paining of the patient. If you see in the skin, then chills and sweating will be there. In respiratory, dry cough will be there. Spleen will be enlarged, that is splenomegaly will be seen. And stomach, if you see, then nausea or vomiting kind of feeling which will be there. Other than this, this is a very important feature which is going to be there, that is the malarial paroxysm. Now this is a very important feature in malaria, characteristic feature of malaria, that is the malarial paroxysms are seen. Now what happens in this is there are going to be 3 stages. As remember, if this is day 1 of the patient infected from malaria, so from day 1 to the last date of infection till the person does not heal, there will be these 3 different stages the patient will be experiencing. First is the cold stage. This is a stage in which person will feel very chilly. There will be chills and rigor, and the person is going to feel very cold. He will just cover himself up with lots of blankets, and this is the cold stage which will take place. Now this cold stage is followed by the hot stage. What will happen in the hot stage? As the name is suggesting, there will be very high grade fever. The patient will be very disturbed, and there will be a lot of headache and abnormality which will be seen in the patient. There will be a lot of discomfort to the patient. So a high fever phase is the hot stage phase. In the cold stage, there will be a lot of chills which will be experienced by the patient. And the last stage is the sweat stage. In the sweat stage, as the name is saying, when the fever goes on, what do we experience when fever is going? There is a lot of stage. Remember, when we have fever and then we take any medicine, after taking the medicine, after some times we will notice that we are experiencing a lot of stage, sweat. That is the sweat stage. So these were the 3 stages of malarial paroxysm, which is a characteristic feature which has been experienced, a symptom of malaria. Moving ahead to the investigations, what all can you do to investigate? The first investigation we can do is demonstration of the parasite in the peripheral blood smear. We will take the blood sample of the patient, and then we will see the blood sample is taken within 3 to 4 days of the patient having fever, and then we will see that in the blood smear, for example, this is the glass slide and we have taken the blood sample. Now what are we going to do is we are going to stain this blood sample either with Giemsa stain, or we are going to take the Leishman stain. Okay, these are the 2 stains we usually use to stain this particular blood sample. And on staining the blood sample, if you see these ring kind of structure, can you see these ring kind of cells? If you see these ring kind of structures, then it is confirmed that it is malaria. If this ring kind of structure is not formed in the cell and they are the healthy normal cells like this, then the person is negative for malaria. But if there is ring kind of cells, then it is positive case of malaria. This was the first and the most common demonstration. Other than that, we can go for serological testing and the antigen detection method. Moving ahead to the treatment, if we see to the treatment of P. vivax, which is an uncomplicated case, because this is not till now resistant to chloroquine. Okay, this is an uncomplicated case and there is no resistance to any kind of medicine till now for this strain. So in this case, as normally we will be giving chloroquine, that is 25 mg per kg, and in some patients relapse due to hypnozoids in the liver cells can occur. Also, this whole is going to be continued for around 14 days under the supervision. So relapse can be seen, and also this is the most common medicine we'll be giving in P. vivax or any other strain other than your falciparum. Coming to a complicated malaria, that is the Plasmodium falciparum, because this particular one is resistant to chloroquine, which is the most common medication. Now when it is resistant to chloroquine, it means we cannot use chloroquine here. Now what we are going to use it? We use the ACT. Now ACT is basically artemisinin therapy which we use. In this, what we do is, this is a long acting anti-malarial therapy. In this whole therapy, we give artesunate 4 mg per kg body weight for the first 3 days. After that, we will be giving sulfadoxine 25 mg per kg of the body weight, and the last is pyrimethamine, which will be giving 1.25 mg per body weight. Now we can give this as we can give artesunate or sulfadoxine together, or we can give sulfadoxine and pyrimethamine together. This is the regime which we are supposed to follow for the falciparum, Plasmodium falciparum. You cannot give chloroquine here, okay? It is resistant to chloroquine, so no chloroquine in this case, only the ACT therapy. So this was all about malaria. I hope the video was useful to you. If it was useful to you, please share this with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and do like the video. Thank you.